Short-term rentals are under attack in many cities across North America. Is the dream of owning one worth it when you could face harsh restrictions, skyrocketing fees, and angry neighbors? In this episode, we'll uncover why short-term rentals are facing scrutiny. We'll discuss both the opportunities and obstacles, including local regulations in Winnipeg, other cities, and highlight key trends such as the growing NIMBY, which stands for Not in My Backyard movement across the continent. So if you're considering investing in a short-term rental, there's more at risk than you think. Your investment could become worthless overnight with one regulatory change. This episode will prepare you to navigate these challenges and thrive in today's ever-changing landscape. All right, let's dive in. What are short-term rentals, or commonly known as STRs? Typically, we're talking about vacation rentals. These are properties that cater to tourists and popular destinations. They're typically advertised on platforms like Airbnb or VRBO. Short-term rentals have, they serve a wider variety of needs, including business travelers, medical visits close to hospitals, sporting events, family, even temporary work arrangements. So I can tell you, and you can probably imagine, I think most people have used these. I mean, I use it extensively when I'm traveling. Personally, I don't usually use them for business. Usually I'm staying in a hotel, but everybody knows, you can rent, 2-bedroom house, 2-bedroom condo, close to a beach, wherever you're talking about. And these are sort of, by owners, and it's a pretty pleasant experience. So why are they being challenged? Okay. So let's talk about the STR trends and challenges in North America. The NIMBY movement, I talked about this. What is it? Not in my backyard, okay? So this is opposing STRs, and they're citing issues like transient guests, partying, noise, overcrowded neighborhoods. Cities such as Toronto and Winnipeg have introduced or attempted to introduce severe regulations that limit STR operations. Now, last year in my other podcast, Investing to Win, I had a guest who is the director of the Short-Term Rental Association in Manitoba, Melanie Mitchell. And she spoke about, with me about the Winnipeg and how we were proposing a bylaw that would actually have banned over 80% of STRs in residential areas. Now, she came on just before the STRs were going to be restricted. And again, this is a couple of years ago, in the hopes that, the podcast was going to attract enough attention and signatures so that they could go to City Hall and maybe get this reversed. Ultimately, it didn't work. And they did end up restricting ownership to only primary residences. I get people, all the time, and I see it on Facebook, I'm going to turn my property into an STR. And they figure, well, I'm just going to do it anyways because they're not really cracking down on it. But if you are treating your rental property like a business, and I've always said you've heard me say that your rental property is a month-to-month business, and the asset is your actual inventory, okay? So picture this. You buy a property for the purpose of renting it out as an STR, and maybe it's only going to cash flow with your STR income. Now, no one's arguing that the gross income for an STR is going to far exceed anything that you're going to get in a single family home. I mean, we're talking a single family home might be $2,000 a month. You're getting $400, $500, $600 a night in an STR. So even if you are only 50% occupied, if you can do that math at $500 times 15 days, that's a heck of a lot more than the $2,000 that you might have gotten out of that, okay? But what are the downsides of that? So you're going to obviously invest in the asset, whatever that mortgage payment might be. Maybe it's not even going to be covered if you are forced to go back to a normal condo rental, STR, whatever it might be. And then let's talk about the furniture. And we're not just talking about a bed, a couch, and a drawer, a dresser drawer. We're talking about living room furniture, dining room furniture, maybe basement furniture if we're talking about a full house. Backyard, you're just gonna leave it bare? No, you're gonna put a patio set in, maybe a swing, an umbrella, some shade, whatever it might be. And then plates, cutlery, pillows, sheets, and then all of the extra things that you're going to be investing in that, laundry machines. So this is tens of thousands of dollars, which is fine. If you're a business person and you're evaluating how good a business could be, you're going to take the positives and negatives out of this, maybe make a column. You're going to see, okay, this is what I could get. Here's my potential income, my net income, my profit margin out of this. But then city council meets, or you're doing this illegally, thinking that you're not going to get caught, and they finally catch up to you and they basically say, you're not allowed to do that in this neighborhood. Now, what are you going to do with your $20,000, $30,000 of furniture? You could try to rent it out as a long-term rental, but maybe that doesn't work. Who is going to want to rent an entire residence full of furniture with plates, cutlery, sheets, forks, knives, spoons? You get the idea. Not too many people. Most people who want to rent out an entire house or even an entire condo are going to be coming with their own furniture. If they don't come with their own furniture, it's going to be, again, a very small subset of the market. Could be somebody newly separated and they're starting out again. It could be an executive that was asked to come here and they're trying out that home for a month or two before they actually feel if they want to relocate their family, and then they're going to buy a house. It could be somebody who, again, fully furnished. I'm even thinking somebody who wants to build a house, they're going to have their furniture unless it's in storage. So now you're talking about thousands of potential tenants to maybe less than 10, less than 20, so it's not a huge market. So, you invest thousands and then you're only to be forced out of the market literally overnight. So let's talk about the advantages and disadvantages of STRs. Again, advantages, STRs can generate 2 to 3 times the monthly income of long-term rentals. Disadvantages, they come with higher operating costs. We're talking cleaning, could be every couple of days, every day, consumables, toilet paper, paper towels, laundry detergent, okay, property management fees. So these property management fees, most property management fees on, let's say, a single family home rental or a condo rental, 10% of gross income is kind of average. Property management fees for an STR, probably closer to 30% of gross income because there's that much more work, okay? Vacancies. STR owners face unpredictable vacancies and a stress of constant tenant turnover and the stress of constant tenant damage. You never know when your guest, right, quote unquote guest, is going to have a party. They're going to smoke when they shouldn't. There's going to be cigarette burns on your brand new counter. You're always worried about that. In a long-term rental, you're only having a turnover maybe once every 2, 3, 5 years, depending on how stable things are and what the vacancy rate is in your market at that particular time, versus literally 4, 5, 6, 10, 20 times a month. You have a brand new tenant that's moving in and moving out. Okay. So, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's different. Okay. You have to prepare for that. Regulations. Okay. So that's really what I want to talk about in this episode. Now, specifically in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, we had an ongoing debate between city council, the neighborhood groups, and the hotel industry. And that's very interesting. Why would the hotel industry get involved? Well, you guessed it, because it's taking away market share. So now you have, again, this is anecdotally, but I have seen some things like this where people in the hotel industry are lobbying against STRs, maybe in the NIMBY movement, maybe because they say they are better regulated, right? And they are not having people that are going and, wrecking places, having parties, that type of thing. So all of this pressure has led to revised regulations. And while the latest proposals, at least in Winnipeg, this is basically what happened. They're allowing up to 3 non-primary STRs in residential areas, but that was only for people who already had them. New entrants now face limitations as only existing properties were grandfathered. So it's a double-edged sword. Regulation can weed out the bad operators, but over-regulation risks collapsing. Basically it's a valuable local industry, valuable local economy. When you think about how much STRs contribute to our economy, we're talking job creation, tax revenues. Think about the amount of turnovers that you have in a single STR. That's a lot of cleaning, a lot of property management, a lot of, little repairs for contractors. There's a whole subset of an industry that services STRs that could be wiped out simply because somebody at city council votes the wrong way. Okay, let's take lessons from other cities. Toronto, Canada, I think they were one of the first that enacted these very strict STR regulations. And what did that do? It caused a sharp decline in the available properties. In the west of Canada, which has traditionally been a little bit more open, cities like Regina and Calgary have struck a balance with fair licensing systems. Again, if you're a responsible STR operator, I think you would welcome the licensing as long as you're allowed to operate the properties. I think licensing, personally for me, being a licensed property manager, is the balanced way to look at it. Because if you're licensed, then you have to prove that you're a good operator. And if you're a good operator, hopefully you're satisfying those that are following the NIMBY movement, okay? Now, the cities that show regulation doesn't mean they have to, have devastation. It can really protect both neighborhoods and investors while maintaining economic benefits. Let's summarize. Short-term rentals, incredible profit potential, but it comes with serious challenges: regulation, workload, and risk. So you need to understand market trends, whatever regulatory threats there are in your particular city, and whatever effective strategies. And then you'll be better equipped to make an informed investment decision. If you're interested in learning more about real estate investing and connecting with like-minded people, I'd like to invite you to join our My First Keys community. We're here to help you build wealth, reduce frustration, and reclaim your time. You can start with a free 6-week trial. No credit card input required. Just head to My First Keys and begin your investment journey today. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.